Lucius Verus. The name may not sound as familiar as other Roman emperors, like Marcus Aurelius or Julius Caesar. However, he played a crucial role in the history of the Roman Empire, and now, with the release of Gladiator 2, the name Lucius is in the spotlight again, albeit in a somewhat different form. In the film, Lucius is portrayed as the heir to a great Roman lineage, the young nephew of Commodus, who becomes a gladiator and fights for revenge, continuing the legacy of the hero Maximus. But who was the real Lucius Verus, and to what extent does the film capture the reality of his life? To understand this historical figure, we must delve into the backstage of Roman politics, fierce battles, and the complex power relations that shaped the ancient world. In real Rome, Lucius Verus was born in 130 AD into a prestigious family. His father, Lucius Aelius Caesar, was adopted by Emperor Hadrian as his heir, placing young Lucius in the imperial line of succession. However, his family's fate would quickly change with his father's death before taking the throne, and the adoption of Antoninus Pius as the next emperor. With Antoninus' rise, Lucius was formally adopted alongside Marcus Aurelius, thus beginning his path to power. But unlike the cinematic version, Lucius Verus was not a gladiator fighting in Rome's arenas. He was a nobleman, with a refined education and a role destined to be played in the highest spheres of imperial administration. When Antoninus Pius died in 161 AD, something rare happened in Roman history. The empire was divided between two emperors. Marcus Aurelius, widely known for his stoicism and wise governance, shared the throne with Lucius Verus. While it was common to have joint heirs, the idea of two emperors ruling simultaneously was unprecedented in ancient Rome. Verus was tasked with leading military campaigns, while Marcus Aurelius stayed in the capital to manage internal administration. This power-sharing partnership shaped many of the events during the early years of their joint reign, but the contrasting personalities of the two men soon became apparent. Verus was sent eastward to face the powerful Parthian Empire, one of Rome's greatest enemies at the time. The war against the Parthians, fought between 162 and 166 AD, was a high point in his military career, with Rome achieving important victories, including the capture of cities like Seleucia and Ctesiphon, major centers of Parthian power. However, while his military command was victorious, his personal reputation suffered. Ancient sources, like the Roman historian Cassius Dio, present us with a Lucius Verus who preferred the pleasures of life, such as parties, banquets, and entertainment, rather than devoting himself to military discipline. While generals led the troops on the battlefield, Verus, according to critics, enjoyed the luxurious life that Rome offered him. This image contrasts sharply with the view we have of gladiators in cinema, who are often portrayed as austere figures, shaped by suffering and honor. Still, his Eastern campaign brought important successes for Rome, and he returned to the capital with honors. However, the return of his legions brought with them a deadly enemy, the Antonine Plague. The plague that devastated the empire in the following years is partly attributed to the troops returning from the war against the Parthians. According to accounts of the time, at its peak, the plague killed more than 2,000 people per day in the city of Rome, with a mortality rate of 25% among the infected. Modern studies estimate the total death toll to be over 5 million people, with some cities losing up to a third of their populations. And Lucius Verus was no exception. In 169 AD, he died suddenly, possibly also a victim of this plague, leaving Marcus Aurelius as the sole emperor until his own death in 180 AD. Here, we see a stark contrast with the fictional Lucius from Gladiator 2. In the film, Lucius is a young man who becomes involved in the life of a gladiator, taking a path of revenge and rising through the blood and sweat of the arenas. The real Lucius Verus, however, was far from those arenas. He lived a life surrounded by privilege, involved in military campaigns, but with a clear division between his role as a public figure and his private life. His legacy, however, was overshadowed by the towering presence of Marcus Aurelius, who is widely revered for his philosophical wisdom and measured governance. However, we cannot overlook Verus' military achievements during the war against the Parthians. Though many critics portrayed him as a laid-back emperor, his Eastern campaign was an important military success for Rome. Under his supervision, the Roman legions achieved significant victories that strengthened the empire in a crucial region. The capture of cities like Seleucia and Ctesiphon was a major victory against the Parthian Empire, one of the most powerful civilizations of that time. While Verus may not have been directly involved in all the battles, he had the wisdom to trust the right generals, which is also a merit in terms of leadership. Finally, it is important to highlight the relationship between Lucius Verus and Marcus Aurelius. The two, despite their different personalities, ruled in relative harmony, complementing each other in their characteristics and abilities. So, when you watch Gladiator 2 and see Lucius fighting in the arena, it might be interesting to remember that the real Lucius Verus fought very different battles. Battles fought in throne rooms on the banks of the Tigris River, and against a devastating disease that threatened the entire empire. These battles, though less cinematic, were equally essential in shaping the destiny of Rome. Now, we want to hear your opinion. What did you think of the differences between the historical Lucius Verus and the fictional Lucius in the film? Do you agree with cinema altering the history of a historical figure just to fit the film's plot? Leave your comment below, like the video if you enjoyed this analysis, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more fascinating discussions about ancient Rome. And in the video appearing on the screen, I'll show you the 10 most famous gladiators of the Roman Empire. Just click and discover.